Good morning, folks. We will be starting in just a few minutes.
All the snacks is waiting for me. Breakfast over there. It's been like. But I so I finally got them Monday. I feel like I'm still trying to straighten out. But I'm like, well, I guess I won't be waiting off of those. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So lucky. They're doing red. Started and 3 days later it was like God.
All right, folks. Good morning. Wow. Happy November. I cannot believe this. For those people online, I'm Melissa Schwartz. I'm the managing broker here at the Paradise Valley office. We have a lot of people here. We'll turn our camera around so you guys can see everybody sitting here. You can say hello. People all the way over in the corner back there. Yay. And if you hurry, you can come on down and join us still. So we're going to be going for about an hour and maybe about an hour and 15 minutes. But there's so much to share. Just going over this last night. It is unbelievable. So we always start. Let me see if I can do this so I can show presentation mode. Is that possible? Probably not. We'll just go to the next slide. So we have a lot of birthdays. Anybody here have a November birthday? We've got a couple of you. Well, happy birthday. On Friday. Happy birthday. Awesome. Every 7 years you get to be a that's a good time to have a birthday. Yeah, I think so. We have a lot of November anniversaries. If you look, we've got a couple of folks. The Sanfords aren't here because they're in Los Angeles, of course, with NAR at 12 years. We've got Deb Kozak. I don't think she's here today. Ann Gardner. Anybody else here have it? Ann, nice to meet you. Well, happy anniversary for being here 11 years. That would be a John Holland associate. No, you came over right around. Awesome. Well, that is wonderful. Did you realize it was 11 years? Well, I thought. All right. And believe it or not, there really was a lot of business last month. I know it doesn't seem like it, but look, we still did $47 million out of this office. Congratulations. 46 it was Joan. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Nice try, but she actually was not in the lead for a while, and we were all like, is she gonna pull it out? Yeah, she did. So of course Joan Levinson did pull out the #1 spot, but it was a close race there for a while. So congratulations to all in the $1 Million Club. That is getting harder and harder to get to right now with kind of the slowdown in the market. But as you'll see when I get to these numbers, it's not as slow as we think. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of the normal slowdown we have. And I think we're all projecting that it is greater than what it is right now. We'll see. So we did affect 108 lives. Just as a comparison, last month we affected 121. So again, not a huge shift there. And actually the difference in the millions was only $12 million off from last month. So in overall numbers, that actually is not that big of a difference. Okay, let's talk about the numbers. Yes, there are some downs there, but look at how small from last month. They actually are not as large as we would have thought. Now, these numbers, you guys all know you receive this slide, right? You've all seen this slide. You get it in my newsletter. It's one of those things that you can download. You can put your name and phone number on, and you can send this out. How many of you are doing that? A couple of you. It's all there for you, folks. Now, this is a general one. And as we've talked about, I'm not a big fan of that because it's pulling from the general ARMLS, which, as we know, there are a lot of people sneaking in stuff from, I don't know, Prescott, Flagstaff, Tucson, the White Mountain area, right? That are not necessarily here in the Maricopa County area. So we're going to look at the numbers. Up top, you can see the changes from last month. We did have an increase in the active listings, right? So the active listings did go up. We expected that. And the other numbers are starting to go down. But important when you look at Maricopa County actives, the shift was only 1,700 listings up over last month. That's not a huge number, especially for this time of year, because technically we typically see a little bit of a slowdown at this time of year. So not a surprise, single families went up 1,371. We only have in Maricopa County, this was as of like 11 o'clock last night, we only have 9,000 listings. That is not very many listings, folks. Okay. So yes, we went down. UCB and pending went down 96. That's not, I mean, that's not a huge number up or down. It's a very small number. Yes. Can that be bigger? Can you tell me how to switch this, Justin, to be, to be just the slides? Because I'm like, I don't know how to switch this.
Oops.
That's okay. Go back to that. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Yay. Thank you, Justin. All right. If you don't know Justin, you'll meet him later. You should all know Justin. He is a real person. Okay. Yeah, he's not artificial. Yeah, we all thought he was. He's just behind the screen. Okay, so your UCB and pending down only 96, coming soon down only 110, and sold down only 158. Folks, that is not really that many down month over month. So when you look at a 10-mile radius, these numbers are even much, much smaller, right? Because you're talking active listings in a 10-mile radius around here is 2918. Yes, it's up 407. These are very small numbers. It's not a huge change. Look at these. Most of them are under 100 in a shift from last month. And if you think about it, as we head into November and December, we usually have a huge decline in activity. How many people know what month of October, November, December, January actually has the lowest sales traditionally with our normal slowdown? Anybody have a guess? It's actually December. January starts to see the pickup, but December is the slowest sales. So we'll see when we get to January whether we can see that, right? These are October numbers, but it's pretty interesting. Now let's get to the sheets that Mandy created for us. I need to move my little, let me just get rid of that. Move that out of the way. Okay, so we did see an increase in time on the market, right? So the housing supply went up to 3.2. That's the biggest jump we went. And you can't look at this one. You have to look at the 1 month before. It was 2.63 to 3.2. So yes, we're extending a little bit of time on market. Very, normal for this time of year. There's nothing unusual about that. That is not really based on the interest rate. That's almost just seasonal. Okay. So The interesting thing I thought was we went from 600,000 as the median list price to 595, but our sale price stayed at $500,000. Go figure. So not much of a change there. Now, this one again is that this is Maricopa County single family. I narrowed it down, so we're just looking at the single family in Maricopa County. Now, I've been tracking this so you can watch as we move these over each month. So you can see the housing supply if you want to. If you look at the top, you'll see the months that they hit, the last month for the current month, and you can kind of see how that progressed. It's not collapsing, folks. It's not going to 6 months on the market. We're just now at 3.5 months on the market. So let's go look at the 10-mile radius. So again, 2.72 months, 3.2 months. Honestly, that's cyclical. That's more of what we're normally dealing with. If we start seeing an interest rate adjustment, this number is going to change for the better very quickly, right? So be prepared for that. Here is an interesting thing. So our purchase sale price in this area actually went up $5,000. Not quite sure why, but you know, we do pick up a lot of Paradise Valley in this search, so we can have that. And this adjusted again by $5,000. So again, not much of a change there. Kind of interesting. All right, take your phones out. Time to do this. Have you guys done this? Take your phones out. Go to your YouTube channels. Who has a YouTube channel? How many of you joined our YouTube channel? Okay. Justin, have you joined our YouTube channel?
I don't think I am, but I'm about to.
There you go. All right. Realty One Group, Paradise Valley. Please, please, please join. We need as many people to join as possible. The sooner we can get to 100, the sooner we actually have our own visibility out there.
Top of my list, and I was one of the first people.
You were. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So please subscribe to the channel. These monthly meetings are all on this channel. Not only that, we took about a year's worth of Mandy's classes and office meetings and posted them there as well. So pretty interesting to have all that back history there. How many of you received this email from our office administrators? Urgent, urgent, urgent. If you had a W-9 prior to 2018, we asked you to redo your W-9. Why? To make sure that your name on your W-9 matched your license. How many of you have PLLCs? How many of you have registered those PLLCs with the Department of Real Estate? How many of you put that name on your W-9? I saw a couple of hands stay down. So whatever name you have registered with the Department of Real Estate needs to be how you receive those checks. And a lot of people got confused because even though they're getting their checks in their PLLC, their tax people are putting it under their individual name. Like, you might have a conversation with your tax people because your checks are supposed to be going to your PLLC and your tax people are supposed to be putting that through your PLLC. So please, please look at that and go get that corrected. If for some reason you've gotten a PLLC and have not changed your W-9, please let the office administrators know. They'll send you this. You can fill it in online. All right. Do we have our guest from Real Grader here? Oh, no. Okay.
Real Grader.
Wow, I went through that really fast. That's pretty amazing. Well, I'm going to stop here then. We're just going to pause for a second. How many of you would like t-shirts? Anybody like a t-shirt? So we have a whole room full of t-shirts. So to make this easy, because I really went through this faster than I thought I had so much stuff I was speeding through. All right, so we have some long sleeve t-shirts. Okay. Those with the little circle on them, you will see they are the long sleeve ones. If they do not have the little circle, they're probably short sleeve. They do have Realty One Group on the back. They're really nice, lightweight shirts. If you are brand new to Realty One Group over the last, let's say 2 years, could you go behind, Leaf, would you open that door? Would you go in and grab yourself a shirt or a hat They start with extra small at the door and work their way all the way to double XLs. So anybody 2 years and younger? Yeah, go.
I already grabbed one, so.
Okay. All right. How about the last 5 years? We've got folks here that have been here a long time. Okay, there we go. 5 years.
What if you don't know how long you've been? For those who don't have a mind.
Well, we'll let these people come out and then you can go.
Melissa, the one that I
That's
got,
fine. Here, I'm gonna put this on there.
Melissa, the one that I got is pretty true to size.
Hold on, is somebody talking on there?
It's
Hang on a minute. I don't even know that I had the sound going. Hold on. Well, you can get one when you come back in. All right, yes. Huh? Oh, I can do that. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to be quiet about this one. There is a card going around the room. If you would please sign it. It is for Heather's birthday. We have both of our office administrators have their birthday this month. The 2 Scorpios are having fun holding down that front desk. Trust me, they know it. I know we're in good hands. That's right. Okay, and online, if you are coming into the office this week, if we have more shirts left. So anybody within the past 10 years, go grab a shirt. Couple of us older folks, we don't get to grab them till later. 11 or 12. Most of the John Hall would be 12. All right. When those folks come out, let me know and we'll get other folks in there. There are also hats. If somebody doesn't like a shirt, there are some bright Realty One Group hats. It was nice of Realty One Group. Thank Cuba. They shipped us some shirts. So thank you. The long sleeves, yes, have the little Realty One circle in front. And there are a bunch of different colors. And I have a small if someone wants a small red. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. Well, I've got one, but you get perfect.
All right.
It's exciting.
Okay, folks. Let's get everybody else who's not gotten one rock title. You're welcome to go grab some shirts. If you'd like a Realty One shirt, you're welcome to it. You can get it later too if you want. You can. Yes. Okay. So I was just asked about the Zelle. How many of you have been reading our newsletters and been wondering what is going on with the Zelle? Now, this is pretty cool, folks, I will admit. However, in Arizona, because our title companies cut our checks, we actually have our checks here in the office, oftentimes the same day, okay? So the only difference is the Zelle system requires those checks to arrive at our office, be processed by our office, and then go out the next day. So if your file comes in at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, it's not going to get processed till the next day. And then it has a 24-hour delay to be sent to your Zelle. What will be great about this, how many of you do rentals or referrals, right? Rentals or referrals are automatically written to Realty One Group. So you can't get those checks that day. They have to be processed by us. So because of that, the Zelle system may be the perfect system to do that on, okay? We've got our first few that have gone out via Zelle, and I believe those first checks went out. I think the first deposits went out this morning. They were received on Thursday before the holiday, so they were not processed till Monday, And then they should have gone out this morning. By 10 a.m. They should be deposited in people's accounts. So any questions about the Zelle system? If the checks are being written to Realty One Group, then really you're going to have it the next day, which is faster than we can turn a check around. So it is definitely a great option with that. If you're in the area and you get a check from title, that will still probably be your fastest way to go. Okay. The other thing is that if you are doing courier or mail to you, it might be faster to do the Zelle, and it certainly will be less expensive if the title companies are charging you to cut those checks, or your bank is. I did one, I was going to do one about a year ago, and my bank was going to charge me $40 to receive a check. I was like, yeah, not doing that. That doesn't make any sense. So this is an alternative for that. So keep that in mind. Okay. I'm going to jump. Well, I don't know what happened to our poor person from RealGrader. Well, RealGrader is a new option here for Realty One Group. It is one of our new partners. I'm going to try and move this out of the way. Don't know where to put that. This is a way. Does anybody know what RealGrader is? I can't really do that. Does anybody know what RealGrader is? Go ahead.
It's they work on all your social media. I did it. Nice.
So
they kind of uniform everything the same, and they go through it.
How many of you have checked your social identity? Have gone online and checked their identity online?
Well, like Google your name.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
How many of you have Googled your name?
Yeah.
Okay. How many have seen things that didn't quite line up, that were like, why is that there? Right? They go through and look at all of those things for you and help you figure out how to correct those. They actually fix costly mistakes that agents make. Here's that comment that we've got there: the inconsistent social media and lack of branding, that you've got broken links out there. How many times have people gone onto your site, found you on a website and clicked on it, and it has gone nowhere, right? It's the link is no longer working. So they go through all of that and help you fix all of that. Now, they will deal with duplicate profiles or inappropriate negative content. How many of you have come from another company in the last 5 years and checked to see that that information is gone, hopefully, and not out there still, right? How do you make sure that information is not there? We had an agent that she came from KW, and it took them 14 months to delete her website. Okay, so please, if you've come over here from another company, go out and check and make sure you don't have other websites where people are going to. Now, they've given us a QR code. That's going to go. There we go. So this will take you to get a free overview. The nice thing is that actually on Thursday, they're treating us to lunch. So please sign up. We sent something out for a registration for lunch. So please sign up. It will be upstairs in the Rock Title Training Center. They will be presenting how they go about this and what they do, so you can learn more about it. Come on up and get that. If you can't see it, make sure you can scan that. This gives you a free overview. This is absolutely free. If you want more than this, there is a fee associated with it. So Thursday at 11:30. I have it down 11:30 to 1 so that we can have lunch and have the hour presentation. If you're not here, you can still join in. It's going to be on a Zoom that we sent through on the newsletter. But if you're here, you get a free lunch. So come join us. It's kind of fun. All right. So, hold on. Can I go back? There you go. I got another person looking for that.
It's not scanning. Put your bar down.
No, I got it.
I got it.
I got it. Some of it didn't. Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, it's just going to take you to realgrader.com. You got it? Okay. All phones are down. All right. How many of you saw this in our newsletter? I know a couple of you did. I'm so excited. All All right, we've got 4 people that have signed up to make salsa for us. So a wide variety of salsas, but I think we have the deadline is today to sign up. Maybe, I don't know. There was a deadline to sign up. Might have been today.
It's
So
today,
go in
Melissa.
and sign up. What was that?
It's today, Melissa. Please
Thank you.
sign up.
Please sign up if some more of you would like to make salsa. Thank you, Yvette. So we have Tia Francis, who is going to come do a little demo on salsa for us. Thank you so much. And we're going to have some tamales. So hopefully you'll come and enjoy some salsa with the tamales and some chips. So just a fun, instead of our wine Wednesdays, we're just throwing around some different things to have some fun here for Wednesday. So that is, oh, by the way, that is the 29th of November after Thanksgiving, just a little midweek break so you can get through with everything and come have some fun. That was good. There we go. All right. Okay, can I get rid of that? Usually it disappears. Okay, I can't really get rid of this.
Click more,
Click more, will it go away?
and then there's
Hi.
Hi.
Under more, there's a drop down.
Floating meeting controls. Thank you. Ah, of course I went backwards. There we go. All right. So, Tuesday, December 5th is our holiday party. We are doing it Enchiladas. Again, how many know where Enchiladas is? Right? So not very far away. Quick jump onto the 51. Please join us. There is an RSVP in there. Some of you had asked to join at one point with more people, which is kind of interesting. We'd prefer each of you kind of sign up so we know who's coming. But it's $11 for you. It's $22 for your guest. All of those funds are going to Arizona's for Children. This is actually the same charity we went and gave money to last year. And we're asking if you'd like to bring an unwrapped gift for foster children, that is where it will go as well. This is an organization that supports Foster Children of Arizona, but it's not directly to them. They bring a lot of tools and resources and money to the foster children throughout the state. So that's where our money is going, and all those donations, right? Everything, all the people that sign up for tickets, all that money is going to them. All right. So please, we hope you'll support them. We are revising our ugly sweater contest. So those of you that want to be festive, you are more than welcome to wear an ugly sweater. If you don't, please wear something warm. It is kind of outside. It's covered, but it is an outdoor patio area. We have a live band ready to get your dancing shoes. Please come and dance. So it will be a fun evening.
Is the little burrow coming tonight?
No, it is not. We're doing a photo booth. So you get the beer, just not the burro. So the beer is at the bar. Actually, so the reason for that, just so you know, is when I received information about the party, I didn't get all the details. And so I didn't understand that hiring the burro was like a separate contract with another company. Nobody told me that. So it's too late to do that.
Let the
So,
burro have a night off.
the burro can have a night off. All right. So I do want to know, would you guys like one final get together? I know we got our holiday party in December. I get that. But Wednesday, December 20th would be in between Hanukkah and Christmas, a little bit of a break. Would you guys like to have something here in the office? If so, okay, no. That's fine. We don't have to do it. But if people do, just let me know. Okay, so the question is cookie exchange or a white elephant gift or something else. Do you just want to have some appetizers?
We can't have both. We can't have both the white elephant and the cookie exchange at the same time.
We could, but I don't know that everybody would do it. That's the challenge. So that's a lot.
Make the cookie though.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right, just bring one ornament.
You could do an ornament white elephant gift exchange. So you're bringing an ornament. So that helps reduce what you're bringing. That's a very good idea. Ornament gift exchange. So we'll put this out in a survey to everybody. So check your calendars, see if the 20th works for you. We'd love to have you here. This is going to be very low key, something we're trying to have that you don't have to go overboard, nor do we have to go overboard on one more event this year. But I think the Wine Wednesdays and that doing just an event a month has been a lot of fun. It's been great getting to know some of you, especially because I've been in the office I've been with the company for 15 years, but getting to know some of you after taking on this role. So it's been really nice to have a chance to sit down. So
Are you going to do a minimum or maximum if you do white elephant?
if we do that, I like the idea of the ornament. So it's an ornament, so you can kind of choose what you want to do. That way it limits the pricing. So
Some of those ornaments are really expensive.
then that's up to you if you want to do that.
I'll look in my Christmas decoration.
All right. That'll work. You can look at your Christmas decorations. That's fine. All right. How many of you are going to the summit in February? Come on, come join us. The summit. Raise your hand. I know you're going. All right, folks, this is an incredible opportunity. If you do or are interested in any referral business, this is an opportunity to meet Realty One Group agents all across the country. I highly recommend it. And if you go as a team, please split up, go meet other people, go see folks, find people from Costa Rica, find people from, New York, from Chicago. Go look around to find other groups that you can do referral business. There will probably be between 2,000 and 3,000 people in Las Vegas that are Realty One Group agents. We have over 19,000 agents around the world. A great opportunity to meet people. If you don't want to stay at the Venetian, there's plenty of hotels around there. If you don't know, the Venetian is on the tram trolley. What is it called? The
Like a light rail.
the light rail, like the train system. So you can get there via monorail. So look for other hotels that are on those stops or close to those stops so that you don't have to drive your car every day. Basically, the convention is on Monday and Tuesday. There's an opening night reception on Sunday night, but I would definitely try to plan on Monday and Tuesday, try to have the whole day, both days, come back either via plane on Tuesday night or on Wednesday morning. So it is really incredible. If you have not seen the video that has been linked to my newsletters, play that video and look at some of the past presenters. They don't hold back. They pull out all the stops. They bring in some incredible speakers. And these are not your realty gurus. These are motivational speakers across all different industries. We are running our own businesses. They're talking about how you run a business, and they're probably going to be talking about how do you run a business in an environment that is down right now, right? The businesses are slower. Obviously, our industry is probably slower than other industries, but it is something that is being talked about. And my guess is we're going to have some incredible presenters. So please keep that in mind. I hope you can join us. Wow. For a month where we do not have 2 Fridays to do our rev ups, even without that, we are doing a ton of events this month. I've put some of December's activities here. Obviously, we have the salsa competition. I did sneak into this, the November rock title events. We're going to talk about those a little bit more in just a few minutes. But please look at your calendars. How many of you have taken a Rev Up class? Oh my gosh. Okay, I know you guys are experienced agents, but if you are trying to get back to the basics and trying to reconnect and figure out what to do next, look at those Rev Up classes. There are a ton of different ones. They're given usually every Friday, both at 9 a.m. and at 1 p.m. unbelievable presentations. Each of our brokers presents these. They're done live on Zoom, and it's a great interaction opportunity. So the last time I had a brand new agent and an experienced agent of about 5 years talking about branding and farming, and it was a great dialogue to help each of them fill in gaps that they had not been doing, and tools that the experienced agent didn't even know was there, and obviously teaching the new agent what was available. But sometimes we're missing those tools that are right in front of us. Okay, so please take advantage of those. This month, of course, we only have we only have one November date left because of the holidays. This is win the listing and negotiate the sale, closing and creating clients for life. The one is at 9, the other's at 1. And then December 1st, you can join me with establishing your brand and farming, and then GPS goals, prospecting, and systems. So lots of fun things coming up. The Monday Masterminds, I'm still working on trying to figure out what we're going to do. If you have other ideas you would like to see covered, please let me know. I seem to be hitting topics that most people are like, wow, I didn't know that. So we're trying to keep that wow going and get more things in here. How many of you have referred an agent to Realty One Group? A lot of you have, I know, because I see some faces on the list. Did you know that when you refer 3, you get a full year for free? That means your $50 a month charge is 0 for 12 months. Okay, so if anybody's looking to save $600 this year, please refer some agents our way. It's a great way to save some money and get somebody here that maybe you've been looking to partner with, that you want to help out or have available to you. If you're going out of town and you wanted somebody there that you know and trust, maybe they're not with Realty One Group. So bring them along and we'll enjoy this environment and let them help us and help you. So, okay, I think we're going to our wonderful host today that brought us. Oh, I got to change this so I can get your pretty photo on there. Let's do this.
Hi, everybody. So with Old Republic Home Protection, I have a few things to go over with you this morning. I want to let you know that we will be releasing a new plan mid-December. There are going to be some price increases, but before you freak out, I just want to tell you. So we're going to switch from standard ultimate platinum to gold, silver, platinum. And the price increases are not terrible. So on our standard plan, it's going to be a 6% increase. On the ultimate plan, which is the one that we tend to write the most, it's a 2% increase. On our platinum plan, there's going to be a 10% increase. And there are also going to be some new coverages, new limits, some added benefit, and one that I want to mention real quickly, and it's an option, but there will be an option on the new plan for you to add hotel and or coverage for a portable AC unit, meaning though that if you don't select that option, you're not gonna, I won't be able to goodwill those things in the future, but I'm just saying for $75 for that option, you will have up to, I believe, $1,000 of hotel coverage or the purchase power for a portable AC unit. So that's huge. And we're all excited to have that on our plan. So just know that it's going to be there. I also wanted to mention too that in terms of just perspective on what home warranty costs are, there's things that we go out and buy on the daily that include warranty or we purchase warranty and we don't even think about it, but we do it. And when we compare the costs, it's kind of silly that we even talk about what a home warranty costs. And this is even with our price increases. But I did a little chart here just to bring it up. If you go out and purchase an extended 4-year warranty on a $50,000 automobile, that's 8%. That's 8% of the purchase price. If you buy a $1,200 smartphone, that's the new iPhone 15. I checked this morning. The warranty on that is $270, which is a 22% price point. That's what the warranty costs, 22% of the purchase price. So if you buy a $700,000 home and you put our platinum plan, the new price, $745, you're at less than 0.01%. So when you're talking to your clients about what these cost. And I know it seems difficult to do because you're at the end of the transaction. You've done all this negotiating. People are coming in with everything they've got. They may not have the money built in, but don't let them go without the warranty, because there's proof that over 70% of first-year homeowners will in fact have some kind of system failure in their home in their first year of ownership. I just want to bring up inflation too real quickly. New AC units in the last, well, since COVID have gone up 43%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
43%, guys. So they range anywhere from $6,500 up to $22,500, depending on the property and of course the equipment and whatnot. So if we just go mid-range and we say $11,500 for a new AC unit, for the cost of a $745 platinum plan, I would say that that was priceless, really. So just talk to your clients about really the value of a warranty, especially in their first year of home ownership. It's important, and it's something that you don't want to leave off of the transaction. I also want to let you know too that you do get, if you're getting email from us, you do get service card notices, or I ask for hard copies just so I can see what's happening in each of my brokerages, whose clients are getting service, so that I know. You may have opted out of those emails, but you can opt back in if you have an agent toolbox with us, so that you can see who that I did a transaction with has had service from Old Republic. And then we will send this to you. And then we give you a cute little template that you can forward to your client saying, hey, I noticed you got service. How did it go? Was there anything it's just a way for you to touch base with your client. So I'll leave these in your mailboxes for you, and may opt out of these in the future, just because Old Republic is trying to go green. And that's my last comment for you. How many of you have actually really ever read the terms and conditions in our plan? It's the legal terms and all the fine print that most of us don't read in anything. And you know this because you're talking to clients all the time who don't read their contracts too, right? So you're providing them that information way in advance, so that before they're doing their DocuSign or however they're signing their documents, they've had a chance to read that. Well, Old Republic, this year we decided in printing our new plans that we would get rid of terms and conditions, which was like 3 pages out of our brochure. We've gone to a QR code. So just know that when you are looking at our new brochure, it's going to feel lighter, look lighter, but there will be a QR code to take you to terms and conditions. That saved Old Republic $400,000 in printing, not to mention shipping, all of the other things that are associated with that.
So let's bring up the fact that I've got some older clients who don't have a phone that they can do a QR code. What do you have to?
Well, they can still go to they're still going to have to be able to go to a computer somewhere to look up terms and conditions, or you can print them off of the computer for them if it's. But so terms and conditions will not be printed in the brochure anymore. They will be on a QR code or on the website.
Joni, print it once and scan it and send it to them as a PDF.
They don't even have email.
I know I have some of those too, but
I gotta go.
they're going, that's not gonna put them on. Yeah. You can give it to them, yeah.
I just want to say that I purchased a plan from you when I got a new build. And I'm so glad that I did, because as a single woman, well, I'm not single, but I'm not married. And
You're being recorded. It's okay.
I just want to say my garbage disposal completely went out year 2. So I couldn't call anybody at the builder, right? And I called Old Republic. They came out within 24 hours. I paid the service fee, and they just put in a new garbage disposal, no questions asked. And it was so easy. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'm glad she said garbage disposal, because that's one more thing I wanted to tell you about inflation. There are hidden ways that inflation is impacting warranty. And if you're asking why raise prices, I think we all know that the cost of everything has gone up. But I'll just tell you one example. My husband's a general contractor. We're currently right now remodeling an investment property. He went to buy a new dishwasher and a new disposal, like we always do. Yeah. Those items have always come with the power cord.
Nope.
No power cord anymore?
No power
Or a
cord
dishwasher?
and a disposal.
No, that's a $15 item, granted, but
upcharge.
when you're there installing it and you have to get up and stop what you're doing, go get up, power cord,
Yeah.
whatever. But the point is that the manufacturer doesn't tell you these things. If you're buying anything in a box now, guys,
Check.
read it, check it, because it's not coming with everything you need to get the job done. So these are just little things that you should know.
I had to reset my dishwasher now that you mentioned it,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have even known what to do.
So these are just things, and so unless you don't ever check your email, you don't come to these meetings, you don't check your social media, and you've never seen me before, there's gonna be 10 more ways that we're telling you a new plan is coming out by mid-December, so
Watch
just know that there will be a grace period too, so that if you're talking about our current plan numbers on a plan in place, we're gonna honor that. Just let me know if there's anything I need to help you with, but as of mid-December, new plan will be out, new pricing will be out.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you. And thank you for breakfast. Thank you for breakfast. Okay. All right. Barb, you're up. Oh, I get to stand this again.
Big and beautiful. How are you? So I hope you all are having a wonderful week so far. Barb Spitzak with Epic Lending. Oh, I had a little procedure on my elbow. Okay, I can't lift anything over 5 pounds for 6 weeks.
Oh.
That's all.
So this arm's gonna be hurting maybe in the fine glass. Fine glass, yeah, exactly. So I know all of you are wondering what's happening with interest rates. None of us have a crystal ball, as we always talk about. But there's some controversial outlooks out there. I saw an article from Bloomberg yesterday that said rates might start coming down as soon as second quarter next year. So we can cross our fingers, but everything else I'm hearing is third or fourth quarter of next year for rates to start coming down. But Epic Lending has a 1-0 buy down that we are paying 2/3 the cost on. So you could also do a 2-1 buy down and we could still put that money towards it for your buyers. But I've locked 4 people in on that in the last 10 days and they love it. So if their rate is 7.49, they're paying 6.49 for the first year. And then they can refinance with our rate rebound program. That's no lender fees or $1,000 and $1,000 towards title. And that's unlimited times to refi within 5 years, not just once. So as long as they keep the loan for 6 months. So reach out to me on that when you have new buyers. I actually have another one today I'm probably locking, and I'm sure he's gonna like that because it's literally no cost out of his pocket to do that. But we also have other programs like Home Funded. If you're trying to get people in your pipeline and you know people are getting married, you know, younger people that are struggling to save for their down payment, you can do the Home Funded program, create your portal. There's webinars almost every Friday with our person at CMG, who's our parent company that created Home Funded, which is, you know, basically like a GoFundMe for people that are trying to save for their down payment. So you set up your portal as an agent, you send that link to your buyers. It could be friends of yours who have kids that are getting married or kids that are in college, and they don't have to buy in the next 6 months. They could be buying in 2 years, and you get them set up on that portal and they do their own campaign. And they can get money in there from birthdays, Christmas, people that are shopping every month online. There's an UPIT that gets attached to their campaign. So there's all kinds of things that keep you in front of people that are going to be potentially buying down the line. So we all are looking ahead, right? Not just about tomorrow. So reach out to me on that. I'm happy to share the link. And I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions about the lending world?
So where can I get a copy of the information about the 1-0 buy down if I want to share that with my clients?
So it's in the newsletter.
Okay.
And that one is just for your eyes. I'm
Right.
creating one that's going to be for your buyer's eyes. And I should have that to Melissa today to put in the newsletter as well, which will have a scenario in there. So I was just going to do like a $500,000 house with 5% down, what that looks like with the 1-0. I can do any scenario you want. I can do it for a property. If you wanted to share it to a client that for a particular property, co-branded with your information, just reach out to me and let me know if you want me to do that for you. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to put the camera over here as I switch my screen.
One thing I wanted to say about Old Republic is I also have Old Republic for my home warranty. And what's nice about it is you can reach out to Kim if you have issues. The one I had before, I could never reach out to anyone to get any answers, and she will advocate. for you and your clients, which is a humongous plus.
Thank you.
for that.
All right, we are gonna go to Rock Title. I'm gonna introduce Sarah Geiger. I don't know how many of you actually know Sarah, but we'll start with Sarah.
Good morning, Real Wonder Paradise Valley friends. We are excited always to be here and support you. I'm Sarah Geiger. I'm basically just a support to the sales team, and obviously work closely with our escrow team and Justin. You all know Justin. I do have a special guest in the house, our EVP of Rock Title, Shane Armstrong.
Hey, Shane.
He just keeps us all in line and supports us all, but one thing we can all predict in this life and this market is change. So we have had some changes recently at Rock Title, and we want to wish everyone the best that has decided to move on from Rock Title. But what we're really excited to share with you at Rock Title is our newest branch manager, escrow officer, right upstairs, Roberta. Come on up. Already, and we are so excited that she joined our family, and she's just gonna say a couple words.
I was with another title company. I was John Hall, Realty One Group's preferred title company back then. And I was downstairs. Now I'm upstairs and super excited and love seeing all the familiar faces. I love that so much has not changed here, and super excited to work with you all.
So can I get a couple of you that have worked with Roberta? Raise your hand. Yeah, I was gonna say, we've got a lot of folks in here that have worked with Roberta over the years. So we're thrilled to see you back with all of us.
And for those of you that know Melinda Johnson and know that we are a team, we're going to continue that team, and Melinda will start with Rock tomorrow.
Does anybody have any questions for us? Your escrows just come to either Art or Roberta now, so we're excited to have both of them supporting you up here.
And the thing that hasn't changed is Art.
Yeah. Or Justin.
Or just, and we're gonna pull him up here because some people have not met Justin. He becomes the segue to some training that.
Yeah.
It's short there.
Who started Rock University? Oh, there's gotta be more. Okay, there's the hand. So every month, typically every Thursday, we do a training at 1 o'clock our time. However, with the holidays, right, we get a little bit busy. So we have 2 for November and 2 for December, but we're going out with a bang. So there's a lot of cool special guests that we're gonna have. This Thursday is Video's Future Impact on Real Estate and Prospecting Strategies with Morgan and Josh with the Mojo team. So we've all maybe have joined one of their trainings, but quick little data fact for you guys. Who's in here doing video marketing right now? Not enough, right? So this is a stat from NAR, okay, and this is pull this out of nowhere, but 51% of home buyers go to YouTube for their #1 research platform.
YouTube.
People are like, well, why would they go there? There's no IDX, they can't search for homes. Go to YouTube and type in homes for sale in and see all the cities that pop up. Property taxes, local schools, hiking, events, right? You go on a vacation or something, you want to research what's happening in that area. And the same thing for home buyers. So 51%. Use that stat when you're talking to home sellers or you're in your listing presentation. Who in here does a video walkthrough tour? Offers that, right? Let them know I invest in this because 51% of buyers choose to go to YouTube and research more with video content. It's very powerful. 11:30, we have Molly Zahn, who does a lot of local social media, both in Arizona and Nevada for agents and teams. She's gonna be talking to us about AI and social media. And then 12:07, we have Debbie DeGroat. She works a lot with Realty One Group as well. We're gonna talk a lot about your 2024 business plan. And then 12:13, we have Brian Tracial back again. He is like the LinkedIn master. And he's gonna tell us all about how we can prospect and generate more leads through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the most underutilized platforms in this industry. Just the SEO power alone. If you go and do an online presence audit and you Google yourself, more times than not, your LinkedIn profile will show up before your website and typically in the top 3 results. So it's very powerful. And it's the oldest social media platform. So leverage that SEO power.
So before he disappears, how many of you have logged in to Rock University? How many of you have an account with Rock University? If you do not,
Free account.
if you do not, you need to go to Rock University. Do you know that it's on your login? It's on your one login. We have one university and then we have Rock University. So please go in there. All you have to do to sign up is put your name and then it automatically allows you to join.
Yep.
All of these classes are visible. I took this off of their page because I started to type it into that other thing and I ran out of room. And I'm like, you guys need to know these 4 presentations are out of this world. If you have not done your business planning for next year, Debbie DeGroat, if you go to Rock University, she's the woman that if you go to One University, Debbie DeGroat is the one that built One University. So when you go on there and do a bunch of the planning on there, that's Debbie DeGroat. 9 times out of 10, that's going to be a Debbie DeGroat presentation. Here you get a chance to listen to her. Is she going to be live here or is it on Zoom?
All Zoom. These
It's
are
all
these
Zoom.
rest of
Okay,
Yeah.
And they're all
So when you're
recorded,
preparing for the
right?
holidays.
they
there's no
will be
excuse,
recorded.
Right?
Right. They will be recorded.
I built my LinkedIn page after taking this class and it made it super easy. It was really nice to have, and I've been in on several of the One Suite trainings that I think are excellent. I mean, it's a great way to spend time because you get real
Usable.
useful information.
Right.
And I always open up to questions. Like you mentioned One Suite. So every Monday I do a One Suite training at 1 o'clock. One Suite, if you don't know, is a CRM and website that Real 20 gives us as agents. So each week I break down a different element of it because there's a lot within there. We just did listing alerts and website editor. So you can always go there and register for those. But real quick, to your point, VIP All Access is where you would go to create that login. Every month I upload social media posts for you guys, a newsletter, and we have a lot more. There's postcards, prospecting letters, YouTube thumbnails, text message templates. And over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to upload a lot of new like video templates even for your listings, like just listed, just sold. We have weekenders that I'm going to upload in there. Tons of content. So we'll make sure to get that out to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes.
I just want to do a quick plug for your class that's on 11:30 with Molly Dunn. So I use Molly for my social media and she does everything, but if you fall into the category of feeling like you need to be doing some social media, but it is just not your forte, or you really don't want to put the time into it, she is
Amazing.
exceptional. She will,
Amazing.
not only will she give you a ton of ideas of things to do if you do your own social media, but she'll also just do your social media. Her name is Molly.
Molly's up.
Dunn. And so for me, she does my Instagram and it matches up with Facebook. It's just the same posts that get done. But, you know, she brands it for you. You can talk to her about how you want it to look, how you want it to feel, what you want it to really say, like what your message is. And for me, it's just a thing I don't want to take the time to do because I don't enjoy it. And I would rather just enjoy it. So she is great.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's
she is
awesome.
great.
She's
Well,
phenomenal.
and also one of your classes is on Canva too, right? A couple classes?
She's done a couple with us and we have several. So all of these are recorded as well. You should still show up and register.
Yeah.
But they are recorded. If you go to Rock University's site, which is in the one login or just for you guys, Real Small Group, onerockstars.com, and click video library, that'll take you to our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We're almost to 600. But all of our recordings or trainings are recorded there and you can search. So if you search like social media or Canva or anything like that, everything that we've ever done will pop up. It's like 200 videos on.
What's nice about Canva is you can make your look, right? And you can share the different social media platforms.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that because I got a call on Friday. We were closed for Veterans Day, right? And the agent needed an open house social post. And this is exactly what's at your fingertips.
24/7.
You can go on to one Rockstars.
Yep.
We say Rock University all the time. So you go to Rock University, you look through VIP access, go to the newsletter, go to the open house template, get your free Canva account, and you can just literally drag and drop your information, your logo, your photo. You don't have to worry that we're closed. But these things are available to you for free. And so we definitely want you to take advantage of that.
And I've never put a template out that you guys have to upgrade to the pro version as well. I recommend the pro version because there's a lot of great things in there, but all those templates are the free version of Canva, so you don't have to pay for it.
What and your templates are in compliance.
Exactly.
Did you all hear that? The templates are in compliance. So please make sure when you're putting Realty One Group on there that you keep that visible. Don't just put the dot. You can't put just the circle. We have to have it say Realty One Group.
And what is your secret when they open up the templates for their information to hit, to drop into all of them? at one
Yes.
time?
So with the social media, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that's a big secret. It's a big tip.
For the social posts, I give you guys like 30 to 40 each month, and you're like, well, how do I go through and change my name on every single one? So do on a PC, Control F, or on a Mac, Command F, and if the search and find will pop up, or find and replace. All you have to do is type in the name I have in there. Maybe it's agent name or it's my name on there as an example, and then replace it with, and it
Your
will
own.
replace it on all of those. You can do that for the name, phone number, email, website, all that kind of stuff. The only thing is the photo, you just gotta quickly drop your headshot in it. But, and they're fully customizable. Once it's in your Canva account, it's in your Canva account. You do with what you want to it.
Thank you so much. We did not expect Justin here today. We're thrilled that you're here. Live and in person. Yes.
I forgot to mention that we're doing a CE class on November 30th in the morning, so it won't interfere with that class, but it's 9 to 12 if you're still looking for CE hours. The general one, and it's inside mortgage knowledge for agents. And it's gonna be at the Reserve on Union Hills. So that will be coming out in the newsletter this week. I know it's kind of far for some of you, but if you're looking for CE credit hours that are reasonable and it's something you want to learn about, we'll be talking about, it won't be me, but Ricky, our president, Ricky Camus, will be talking about the basics of real estate finance, FICO credit scoring, and then the types of financing available, like reverse mortgages, like DSCR for investors, bank statement loans, in addition to your regular ones, just so that you have a basic knowledge when you're in front of your buyers. Thursday, November 30th, from 9 to 12 at the Reserve on Union Hill.
And
that'll
for
be
those
out.
that don't know, it's right off the 101. You can take the 101 loop all the way out.
And we'll
So-
we'll have it in the newsletter.
We'll get it in the next newsletter, okay? For those of you that want to take down Roberta's new information, this is the direct phone number for her upstairs and her email. And of course, Art's information is there as well. For those that don't know, when they're taking a listing, if you put in your listing that there can be a savings if the buyers select to go with Rock Title, it's a 50% off the escrow fee. Make sure you guys realize it's escrow, not title. The escrow fee for both sides, both the buyer and seller get that, but it does need to be in your listing. If it's your listing, make sure you put it in there. A lot of people like putting it in semi-private remarks. You can put it in the public comments or you can put it in the private. It can be anywhere. It really is fine. The buyer does need to see it. So I wouldn't just put it in private remarks. Let the buyer know that they can have that choice. Okay. And make sure you have that conversation with your client. I was recently dealing with a transaction that agent in another office put it on there. And so we wrote the offer with that information and then the seller countered it. I was like, why did your seller counter that out? Guess they forgot to have that conversation. So I was like, you have it written there. Oops. So, all right. I have two other things here. So before we leave today, I am going to shut this down, but we do have a special guest after this meeting. Jim is sitting back there quietly hanging out. He's going to come up for those of you that want to sit and have a conversation about the NAR legal issues. Jim is going to share with us some of the stuff that's going on right now with AAR and ARMLS. If I think that's correct, he's going to tell you his rules with both of those. But I'm going to shut down the recording so it's not on this. We'll leave it open to those of you on Facebook and Zoom. I'm just going to shut down the recording part of it. So those of you leaving, if you could just be a little quieter, head out and get some food and out the door, but that way people that want to stay, you can do that. Please remember to go on and share. If you are going to attend the Real Grader, it is already in your newsletter. We need to know how many of you are coming for lunch. so that they, you are here. No, I asked earlier. Okay, hold on a second. We're gonna go back here. We talked briefly about it. Whoops, where'd I go? The wrong direction. Come on up.
Guys, sorry, no, a lot of content today.
I flipped through earlier,
Okay,
so.
well, it'll be really quick. My name's Madison. So nice to meet all of you guys. It seems like such a cool office. I'm saying the salsa competition and like I love salsa. So
Come on back.
come in for myself. I get an invitation.
You have an invitation. Come on back. That's good.
I'm the brand relationship director at Real Grader. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Real Grader. We were at your summit in Vegas last year. We're a relatively new partner. We're going on a year and a half now. I work a lot with Taylor at corporate. She's the director. She's awesome. We've been doing a lot of trainings with you guys. This is really a good segue from what Justin was saying and talking about. But on Thursday this week, I think like Melissa said, we have a lunch and learn here. We'll be sending over lunch. I will not be here. We'll have our national speaker on Zoom, so you guys could join via Zoom if you wanted to as well. But we're going to be going over these platforms online. Honestly, everything Justin said was perfect. Like LinkedIn and YouTube are so huge. We're going to go over those things. We're going to go over what your branding should look like on these websites. And we're actually going to Google a couple of you guys live who volunteer. So we're going to share the Google screen. We're going to plug your name in. It's really fascinating to see what comes up on a Google search from some random person across the country, right? Because it's different when you look yourself up. People always ask, well, when I look myself up, everything's coming up. Well, it's different, the way your computer, your cookies and that type of stuff. So we're going to look over these sites. We're going to show you guys how to do these things, how you should be looking, what your bio should be looking like, covering AI. But the good news is if you don't want to do that, which I think some of you guys touched on, we have a team that can do it for you. So you're going to leave the training feeling like you got value, whether you want to pursue our team or you want to do it yourself. The idea is these profiles are free and we're transparent about that, right? These are free pages to use. So either you do it yourself or you have somebody else do it, and we understand both approaches. So if you want to go to the next slide.
We did, and they did, do you want this one or the other one?
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay, because they did the QR code,
Okay,
so,
perfect.
but go ahead and talk about this.
Yep, so that QR code, just so you guys know what that is, we have an AI system that we've created, a software. We've graded, it's actually 100,000 agents now. I updated it, but I guess the Canva didn't come through. We have graded a ton of agents. We also are partners with NAR as of this year. Have you guys heard of the REACH program? Anyone?
Yeah.
NAR REACH?
Yeah.
So every year NAR chooses, I think like 8 to 10 companies, and they invest in them, they promote them, they partner with them. And we were the first company of 2023 to be chosen for the REACH program. So this is huge. We've been applying for 10 years to get this. We finally got it. We're also in the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies in the country for this year. So we've loved our partnership with Realty One Group. It's been incredible. Melissa is awesome. You guys have such a good culture here. And we love it. So if you want to go to the QR code, I don't know if you guys got to scan it before. When you submit your information here, you're going to get a grade out of 100. It's going to tell you what your profiles are missing online. So it'll give you kind of a breakdown. That way, when you come to the training on Thursday, you'll kind of have an idea of where you stand before the training. Oh. The national average is about 30 out of 100, which is crazy. Even top producers, you guys. I mean, we call it optimizing. We have optimized top producers. Berkshire Hathaway, Gino, he's like runs all of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of America. I'm sorry, not Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of America. We optimized him. You would think somebody at that level would have a good presence online. No, our company optimized him. So I know you guys are busy. I know trainings are redundant and you hear it all the time. But this one's really awesome. It's super interactive. Our team is great and you guys will love it. So I'd love if you got your free grade and let Melissa know how many are coming so we can get lunch ordered and all set up.
How many of you did that here? Did anybody get a grade while you were sitting here?
I'm still waiting.
Did anybody get a grade back?
It's gonna take about 48 hours.
Oh, never mind. Okay. Okay, never mind.
We actually it's a software, but real eyeballs will review it before, so they'll actually see what it pulls.
11:30 is when we're getting together. I'm assuming that's kind of lunch, and then we're starting as the online will actually be at 12.
Yeah, and we can kind of play it by ear too if you guys are, everyone's here and ready. But yep, lunch at 11:30, and if you want to put the QR code back now that you guys have some background of like what the heck that is. You can scan it and you don't have to, but it's interesting to see what comes up.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I was just early. I went faster than I expected.
I know.
It was jam packed and I was like, I'm gonna run out of time. So
yeah, it's okay.
Thank you so much. Yes, please, in the Sunday newsletter you got has an RSVP. Please go back to that and click and let us know if you are joining us. Okay, we will go back to this. And Buyers and sellers really quickly, because we're just a little, see, I said we were gonna be till 10:15, 11:15, and that's about right. So does anybody have buyers or sellers? Yes, ma'am.
I have a seller at Queen Creek. I'm a very motivated seller.
Motivated sellers in Queen Creek.
Square foot is 1513. It is in Western Bowl in Ironwood Crossing. It is a gorgeous house, with a corner lot interior. They've been on the market for over 40 days. They're under contract for two buildings. So cool. And a community pool, community parks. Everything's a big deal.
Okay, next,
Price is $4.50. Yeah.
Joni.
I have a listing coming up, after this week at about 7th Avenue and Bell. It's a 3-2, about 1,700 square feet, does have a big pool. It's an incredible home. It is this beautiful, perfect field corner lot, and it's, gonna be listed at about 480. And it, has complete private ownership of this house, everything. She meticulously maintains this, and she's 84 years old.
Oh my gosh.
So, and they're going on, they're wanting to buy something, you know, in a single level, so we can't sell this. And then unless we have something else, so we're trying to strategically get this, and we're like going for an offer on another one in the next 2 days.
Is it just south of Bell?
No, it's north of Bell. Yeah, but it's $25 a month. Yeah, like, maybe.
Okay, so have you put that on the one exclusive, since if you have your ER, remember we have a Facebook group that is only for Realty One Group agents. It's called One Exclusive, that allows us to comply with the clear cooperation, right? Because you can advertise to other realtors and you in Realty One Group, but it's not just this office, it's everyone around the state. So please remember that it's a great resource for something like this, because you can put in there we're not going on the market until we figure out the move. Okay. Others? Yes, Lee.
Barbara and I have two new listings coming up in the Valley on 16th Street and Greenway. One's a single level for $735, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, pool, 3-car garage. The other's a 2-story, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, and $829 for the pool.
Fantastic. In the back. Yes. Yes.
I have to live in Sun City, and we just reduced the 2-bedroom, 2-bath, single house, the great big built-in back patio, about 1,200 square feet, 17,000 square foot land.
Wow. Wow.
The other one I on Osborne and west of England, about 1,900 square feet. Today was really it's got fire codes. Nothing is it doesn't have air conditioning, but with the contract, that's what we have to do. That's what went down. So it's really nice. All kinds of mix and brand nice storage in the bottom, storage inside.
And how many of you have worked the Sun Cities before? Okay, so all of you know there's a community addendum that needs to be used, not just the HOA addendum, because really that's superfluous in most cases. It's the community addendum because there is outside water, there's outside trash, there's other expenses that your buyer needs to acknowledge. So please make sure you use that community addendum. All right?
Is that the addendum that's only on research?
Yes, I believe it is on WeServe. I think we have it. Does anybody know? We have it in our working documents. I think we have it in our working documents now. Anybody else? Buyers, sellers, buyers? Nobody has any buyers. Yes.
I have a buyer looking for something on Surprise or Lockout.
Okay. 1,600 square feet in the Sun City Grand or Surprise.
Surprise, one.
Okay. Anything else? All right. As I said, Jim Sexton is here. He's going to stick around. Please grab some food if you have not. If you're leaving, if you'll pick up your stuff so other folks can sit down while Jim comes over to talk. I'm gonna turn this part of this off, the recording, and we will continue. You want to stay on here, correct, to listen? Can't tell how many people are on my.
I know.
Dan, if you do anything to get your picture up there, you gotta look at me right here, right there. You see, look at first. No, no, too high, too high.
I know, it needs to be up higher. I hate it coming from below. Okay, we are still live on our Facebook. I'm just gonna try and see who's on there. Live on our Facebook. For those on Facebook,
What are we doing?
I'm gonna probably turn it around so we can see
So
you.
where do you want? Here?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Here? Okay.
Yeah, we can move this, so. Okay, we'll stay on for the Facebook folks. And for Zoom, we just got rid of, thanks Shad for joining us. That's weird. Depends on the questions. Folks, just bear with us for just a minute while he gets out here. We've got about 5 people online. We are going to keep this going. So stay on there if you'd like. I'll try to come back and look for questions once he gets started, but give us about probably 3 minutes, okay?
You know what? It's funny for that. Well, this is okay, yeah, a little bit larger. Scenario. Yeah, I'll do.
Jim, I had to push it this way, so you'll be able to see, because if I have it too close, it just does that.
Best side?
That's your best side. You're good. If I had it with this in the background, it just created the mirror effect that it just kept going back.
Yeah, get it.
Okay, I'll come and check to see if there are questions. We got about 4 people on.
Okay. So we ready to go? Jesus, cut me down. I don't just go this way or this way. Good morning, all. Good morning. Good morning. How we doing? Sorry, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roam. So folks online, hello. I'm leaving now. I'm going this way. Good morning. So anything new in the real estate world? I can ask the case. How many were here a week ago last Monday when we were talking about it? So you're gonna hear about the same stuff just because there's not really much that has happened except NAR in full panic mode trying to buy time and heading into a conference that started today in Anaheim. There may be things that come up that get announced this week, but I would think that not very likely, just because of all the items that need to be solved before there's really substantive things that's going on. So do you want me to start? Well, first of all, how many heard Alex either Monday or Wednesday? You know, Alex gave a great presentation as to what happened and how antitrust is involved in this, and therefore what the impact is gonna be. You know, as I'm sitting here listening to the meeting, I'm reminded about all the tools that Realty One has that makes available to you. And I'm thinking to myself, why do they have the tools? They want you to have, they want to add value to you and your real estate business, especially when you're face to face to a buyer or a seller, because that's what it's all about going forward, in my opinion. By the way, I'm going to say in my opinion quite a few times this morning, because there's a lot going on. You want me? I told them I was leaving. There's mostly what we've heard so far is speculation, because NAR, again, in my opinion, is looking to buy time as far as what's happening and what the next step is going to be.
Sorry.
Yes, there was a $1.8 billion. You know, the first time when I read that, I figured it was a million, and then you go billion. Is billion that much more?
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, 500. 500 million, that sounds like a lot, once you get over a billion, but it's not just 1 billion, it's 1.8. And oh, by the way, it's an antitrust case. So that means there's automatic treble damages. Last time I checked, 3 times 1.8 is about 5.354 billion, still billion, which is a lot of money. And then so NAR lawyers are involved in settlement discussions or working to get the 1.8 lowered. Their calculators don't go that high. They're missing a 0 or 2. And so, they're just trying to get something like this resolved. Last week, I had the opportunity to do a class on federal issues, and we talked about antitrust with Rick Mack. And it's interesting as we go back and forth, the discussion on what's going on and what the next steps are going to be, where we are really as an industry. And as an industry, we're going to take commission discussions out of boilerplate language, check a box, or, let me fill in a number here for you. And we're going to take it to an upfront discussion with either the buyer or the seller. Part of what, and by the way, AAR already has a meeting set up for risk management coming up in 2 weeks, the week after 27th, I think, in November. Are you on the committee?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So am I. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Phil let me on. Go figure. Yeah, you let me on. Until I get kicked out, because I've been known to get kicked out of the committee on occasion.
He's like, I don't know, does that look good?
Yeah.
I point my dad.
It'll be, yeah, I know. Excuse me, raise your hand, sir, before you. Okay. I'll do that, son. Thank you. So it'll be interesting to see what's happening. And we do have some models to go from. For example, the state of Washington had an issue with this a couple, 3 years ago, and they revised some forms. And so I'm sure that'll be some of the forms that we're looking at. I would assume that the current ready form, real estate agency disclosure and election, will be changed. And it may have an attachment, and the attachment might not just be a buyer broker agreement, but it might also be a separate form in which for like MLS listing agreement, which will have a commission discussion separate, and again, speculation, and we'll see where we land. It's kind of interesting that groups such as AAR, such as the MLS, are trying to solve problems yet that we don't know what the problem is, but we're looking for solutions. We're guessing what the problem's going to be because we kind of know that there hasn't been a lot of transparent commission discussions with buyers or sellers going forward. And we also know that NAR, I think, was a bit surprised that the verdict came back in 2.5 hours. 11-day trial and the verdict in 2.5 hours, and you get body slammed. Something was wrong there.
Yeah.
I think it was a surprise to them, and obviously they've got all these discussion points and things that are going on. But understand the verdict hasn't been approved yet, and so again, that's why everything going forward is speculative. The judge still has to, throw the gavel down and say, okay, I approve the 1.8. And by the way, we're going to do one of the options could be injunctive relief. And injunctive relief would be instructions to NAR about changing specific NAR rules about, and therefore MLSs are waiting for that discussion to take place. Every MLS, except the one in Washington, not every, 99% of MLSs in the country are all realtor owned. So for example, this one in the MLS is owned by the associations, the 4 associations in the Valley, and has been since it started wherever we are now, 40 years ago. The MLS in Seattle, it's owned by the brokers, and so they weren't a member of NAR, and so they've kind of been at the forefront of discussions, because NAR has a model set of bylaws which all MLSs have to agree to in order to become an MLS charter. The benefit of that for MLSs is that means NAR's E&O insurance is covering you. Now, that used to be a plus, but I would think that NAR's NAR policy is about tapped out when it comes to $1.8 billion. I don't think they were covering that much for potential damages, but then again, I could be wrong. So it'll be interesting to see what happens along those lines. Let me take a breath and ask for questions and stuff that you want me to cover very quickly. Nice job. You were first. What's your question?
What's happening with the brokerages that are leaving?
That what?
That have left NAR because of those.
Oh, that haven't been named yet?
That have left, that have left.
Left NAR.
The brokerages
Yeah.
that are saying they're not gonna stay with
That's,
NAR.
that's a great clickbait item. For example, Redfin was the first one. I think Redfin is the one that's the most serious. And it's not that serious, in my opinion. I mean, I think Redfin has maybe 2,500 agents / employees that are NAR members. And that makes that different. There's not that many employees in the industry, especially full company employees, when it comes to agents. And so Redfin leaving, especially Redfin leaving, the interesting part of that is, of course, they've been kind of a transparent commission company for a while, since they were founded by Glenn, their owner. Because they were, and they weren't that revered, respected in the industry, because they were doing the 1% seller buyer rebate, for a long time, sell through me and we'll give you 1% of the commission. And real estate agents didn't like that, because now we had to compete with, I'm keeping my full commission, but wait, if I work with Redfin, they're gonna give me 1% back. And that's kind of the world as we may know it going forward in, 6 months to a year to 2 years. So, and the other folks, for example, Anywhere and Remax, who were named in the initial suit, but who settled prior to the trial. Part of their pledge to do 5 things was to make NAR membership optional throughout their franchisees, as well as company-owned stores, as well as independent contractors and or agents that are affiliated with them. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. The current rules for the MLS allow non-realtor subscriber members into the MLS. Let me say that again. Non-realtor subscriber members into the MLS. So we already have it here in Phoenix.
So Jim, what's the cost for a non-member subscriber?
Surprisingly, the last time I checked, it's approximately the same as your realtor subscriber membership. Plus, well, it's a little bit higher because we're going to add in some realtor dues that you're not really paying, but your fees as a non-realtor subscriber members are remarkably the same. So for example, MLS might be $500, and now to be for a realtor, and now to be a non-realtor subscriber, it's going to be $1,000. So what's your benefit now? Well, and the rules are different because they've added about 20 pages of rules, which coincide closely to the Realtor Code of Ethics. And so basically, you got a different set of rules. So, and I think 18 companies are that way, and they have 32 subscribers. And I got those from Matthew, the CEO, a week before the verdict. So the end of October, when I was at a broker luncheon, I was asking him questions about, so where is this going to go and what's going to happen here and how's that going to go? And as a longtime director for the MLS, I mean, I knew that there were non-realtor subscribers, I just didn't know the impact. And I figured there were more companies that, there were more than that number. The weird part about that is gonna be, however, what sort of contracts will those folks use? Because obviously, the purchase contract, and everything is through the Realtor Association. Non-realtor subscriber member, what will you use? That form's copyrighted. So, you know, you gotta figure out what you're gonna use. And it could create chaos in the marketplace, which we haven't had in quite some time. Bonnie, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have one question, literally, that you were talking about. So I have to-
No, you only get one. Make it your best one, and I don't want an ad on it.
The first question is, when does the judge have to give it up?
There's no, okay, when does the judge have to approve? Yeah, well, the good news is he hasn't taken 2.5 hours like the jury did. Which means there's significant issues to be considered that he's gonna have to approve or disapprove. Part of what he has to approve are the 2 settlement offers, and I'll get back to that in a second. The other thing that's happening right now is that obviously NAR went back to the discussion table with them. And who's in the room all of a sudden? That those pesky guys from DOJ, who, you know, have had an ongoing discussion with NAR about the rules. So much so that even though I don't know, there was a federal court, I don't know if it was Supreme Court or not, even though that there was you know, an approval between DOJ and NAR about 2 years ago, DOJ decided they'd like to renege on that and not honor the terms. And so they withdrew their approval, and then NAR sued them, and the courts held that DOJ has to live with the prior agreement. Until, of course, the jury comes down and says, you know, there might be something to that, and now the judge is considering, instead of a 5-part discussion, NAR, more than that, NAR, the 2 real estate companies, the 2 real estate companies that settled in DOJ, 6-party discussion on what's going on. One of the other things that the judge has to do is to decide whether they're going to approve the RE/MAX and the Anywhere settlement, which took place prior to the trial. RE/MAX, I think, paid 54 and Anywhere paid 63, or I don't know, paid more. I think 110, 120 million. Thank God we're back to the millions instead of the billions. You know, I can deal with those numbers. They feel a little more real than billions, unless, of course, we're the federal government deciding who to pass it out. No, never mind. I can't call it this. Different day. Okay, so they got to agree to those 2 things. The interesting part of what those 2 settlements have is the terms of the settlements, which I thought was, you know, wow, that's all they're looking for. I mean, if the plaintiffs have agreed to, at least subject to court approval, have agreed to settle, if you give me A and B, I mean, it stands to reason that that's kind of what they're looking for from NAR and from the other plaintiffs, at least in my world. I mean, doesn't it make sense? I mean, obviously there's money involved, but if we change these 5 things and you're going to settle with me, then all we got to discuss is money. And can we talk about money that starts with an M, not a B? And, you know, we might be able to get something done. So, for example, the terms with Anywhere are going to be prohibit agents from claiming that buyer services are provided for free. Well, we've been hearing about that for the last couple of years, and obviously we should have been not claiming they're free for umpteen years, but that's a different story. Not allowing agents to sort in MLS by commission. So I'm only going to show my clients the ones with the highest commission, right? Again, ARMLS has eliminated that a couple of years ago, so that's not an issue here as well. They don't want, so Anywhere is not going to have their company brokers and franchise owners have a rule requiring offers of compensation. Understand what this means? So right now, you know, back in the day, when I was at John Hall, I mean, if this were a John Hall meeting, I would say things like, you know, we're going to go in, we're going to write up the listing agreement. We're going to look for 6% commission. Now we can talk 6% commission. We're all in the same company, right? You know, and we're going to go this, and we're going to split it 50-50, and this is the ways of the world. 20 years ago, and then over time, things have changed. And consumerism is such that, and transparency in consumerism, I'm back here. consumerism and transparency have come together, and now the numbers have to be discussed, and we gotta know, the seller has the right to know what he's paying for, and then the seller has the right to know, give me a reasonable reason why I'm paying for somebody to offer me less. Should I pay them less if they offer me less? I mean, what are my options here? And, you know, it's just a system that is in need of discussion and in need of reform. The reform is going to come from a higher level, and that's the NAR, because that's part of their bylaws, that's part of the charter that the MLSs have to agree to. But anyway, no rule regarding offers of compensation. ARMLS is in the process of changing their rules. So right now, you have to offer compensation and at least for $1. And they're going to change it to 0. That doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's a admission that you can put a listing that your listing won't be rejected in MLS if you're offering 0. Right?
But currently it's 0 is allowed.
Currently it's $1. It's $1.
No, I just saw.
Oh, you just did it?
No, I didn't do it. I just saw coming soon on one of my searches and it says 0%.
Okay. Leaf?
I did some in the listing yesterday and wait, and it had 0 in the top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it just got changed.
Yeah.
Again, when I was talking to him, it was end of October. So they said it's happening very soon. So 0, so you can put it 0. I'm not recommending you put 0. I'm just saying that is not going to be a reason for it to be rejected. One of the other things that they're going to do is they're not going to require company or franchise agents to belong to NAR or follow the NAR rules or code of ethics or MLS handbook. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Again, that's why I was asking the question of what's going to happen and what it's going to do. I think that's a message to NAR that their rules are antiquated and need to be reviewed. I don't think anybody wants to jump away from NAR. Just like at AAR, I mean, the most common reason that people say that why am I a realtor is because I have to be in order to get MLS access. That's a terrible answer for the associations to hear.
Right.
Whether it's true or not, it's a terrible answer. The leading reason should be things like risk reduction. What do you mean by that? You know, if you're a broker, you got access to legal hotline. That's a good thing. Forms, standardized forms, statewide standardized forms. Is that bell going to come down?
No, it's.
Oh, it's okay. Boom. I was going to say, if that means a mic drop, then, you know, I'll let you know when we're really going to get to that. There it is. So standardized forms, you know, is another one. And then the lobbying aspect of it, the stuff that AAR has done, you know, on the state legislature level is significant for realtors, just as it is for NAR as well. But anyway, there needs to be better reasons than just I have to or my broker makes me, right? But anyway, that's one of the things that they proposed in their settlement. They will require agents to disclose to clients that commissions are not set by law and are fully negotiable. Well, wait, haven't we had that for years and years? Yeah, but have we disclosed? And is a boilerplate a disclosure? And so, you know, we've got boilerplates. If you're looking at the listing, it's a small paragraph. Well, sure, it's in both, you know, it's in capitalized, yeah, but who really sees it?
Well, but a good example with the AAR form, the ER form today is different than it was, what, 3 or 4 years ago, because I remember very clearly agents could take a listing and say, yes, I'm going to take a 6% listing. There was no disclosure on anything with the owner on what was being split to that other side.
Right.
And so let's say they took a 5.5 or whatever, they didn't bother to tell the owner that the other side was only getting 1%, right? They were getting the rest. So today we do have that disclosure.
Right.
And in our forms, right? Again, it's different across the country. And that's what's so evident about these settlement terms is ARMLS and AAR have actually been really in front of this conversation several years ago. If you look at what's happened here.
Have been listening. I mean, again, this lawsuit's been working its way through the court system since 2019, just like the one that's coming up in April out of Chicago, same time period, you know, 2019. And there's, you know, and we'll hear it from there.
Is that one where there's, brokerage companies are getting sued?
Yeah, that one, the brokerage companies are Compass, EXP, KW is in it again. And I think
Redfin.
Is Redfin in it again? Oh yeah, Redfin,
Redfin's in it. They
Redfin
weren't in
technically
the
wasn't in it
Yeah.
on this one, yeah, but Redfin is in it, right? Yes, so that's the one.
Are you ready for my other?
Wait, Joni, you had a question?
I have a question online.
Can you give an example of who are non-realtors who are members of?
No, I don't know who they are. I didn't ask.
I mean, are they like lenders or, I mean, not Mr. Johnson office?
I didn't ask.
The other question was, why is it mandatory to be a member?
Yeah, okay.
Now I forgot my question. So after this is all said and done, and are we gonna see more ads explaining all of this to the public? Because right now the realtor ads are very generic.
Right.
You know, we represent you, that's about it. We're the ones that help you get into a house and see it. Are they gonna explain this in detail or a little bit of detail to the public, because they're seeing these clickbait
Right.
ads.
NAR has had a realtor. What's it called? Realtor public service announcements for the last, I want to say 20 years. Trying to get the message out of why to use a realtor and stuff like that. I don't see NAR getting involved in detailed commission discussions in an ad. But I think the importance is going to be that boots on the ground are the folks that are going to have the discussion. I think I wouldn't be surprised if you hear, understand that commissions are negotiable or something of that, and choosing a realtor, you can negotiate your commission or something to that effect, but they're not going to get into your individual business.
No, I just thought more detail.
Yeah.
I think the
Right now,
problem,
it's just fluff.
I think the problem is that across the country, there are so many different systems that it's hard for NAR to go into any detail.
Right.
Because there are different situations in different parts of the country. And we do have a question online.
Sure.
Says, in your opinion, what should agents be worried the most about regarding the jury's decision and any potential changes in the industry?
Shouldn't be worried about anything, because nothing at this point has any trickle down effect to the agents. The trickle down effect is going to be, tell me about your discussion of commissions. In fact, I think Melissa at the meeting last week, you had a wonderful discussion about commissions, letting the buyer know what's happening, letting the seller know what's happening. And as long as we're comfortable with that, now what's going to happen? I'd be surprised if the use of buyer broker agreements does not increase significantly. But I've been talking about buyer broker agreements and their use for the last 10 years. And everybody, that's not me. Yeah, I know you should, everybody else, but no, I'm not gonna do that, right? Just because if I say you need a buyer broker agreement, the next person I talk to are gonna say, you don't need a buyer broker agreement. Who am I gonna choose? Well, now you've got to establish the value that you bring to the transaction. How many times, we just had the thing on there, talked about rate my agent or whatever, what's it called?
Real Grader.
Real Grader. I don't know. I do occasionally look at scores if I'm buying stuff, and I see it's a 5 point or it's a 4.2, or I want to read what people say. You think, and then the other gentleman talking about YouTube. You think people are looking at those to come up with? Do you do the job? Do you get done what you say you were going to do? And I think the social media presence is going to become more necessary. It's going to separate the doers from the cherry pickers. Can I say it like that?
I think you can. I'm going to just jump on with it. I think, Joni, we'll answer you. We'll get it in just 1 second. So I do think.
My bad. That was my bad. Sorry.
Not your fault. Everybody else is going, I'm like, had my hand up for how long?
I know.
So I do think that that's going to be an element. And I also think some of you that have been doing what you've been doing and you have your own clientele base, that you're going to continue to work that clientele base, right? If you have your own database and you're not out trying to get necessarily new people, that you're going to continue to work that base and they're going to continue most likely to come to you, right? For those that are talking about their clients, Joni, that they're not on the internet. Your clients that don't even have email. This isn't going to impact them at all, right? So there are some people it will impact greatly. When you talk about the Gen Z, I mean, You're gonna talk about people that are always on their phones. My kids don't go anywhere without their phones on and check out, Google this, Google that. So there are going to be different generations that this is going to affect differently. Joni, what is your question?
So Jim, how do you see this whole thing with compensation? Because we, like you said, 20 years ago, I was with you, 6%.
Right.
And all of a sudden we start seeing it down to 5. Then we're
Yeah.
starting to see all of a sudden. So with this, all that's happening with NAR, how do you see this? Because I respect your opinion immensely.
Thank you.
That it's going to actually unfold to where, like, yes, my clients that I've been dealing with for 30 years, that's not gonna affect them. They know what the value I bring.
Sure.
But new people and how, all this conversation with all the Gen X and all these other younger realtors that are coming in and, wanting to actually get these commissions down. We have value. Why is it that we are coming down? We're not actually staying where we kind of were for most of my career.
Right. Are you really coming down? If prices are going up, is your check at closing coming down? I think the thing that happened is you take a look at $1 million sale. And you take a look at, that house, when I bought it 3 years ago, was 500,000. And 3 years ago, when I sold it, I was comfortable with a $15,000 commission, but now that it's $1 million, my services are only worth $30,000, and I'm coming down if I don't get $30,000. And I think that's how appreciation is. And so now the discussion looks inward, and it says, are real estate agents inflating the price of housing?
No.
Well, it's still only a percentage. Okay, but maybe, so you asked me what's my opinion. I suspect we're gonna see flat fees. I suspect we're gonna see a la carte services. Yeah, sure. Because I've already found my house, Joni, and I need you to write up a contract for me, will you? And if so, what will you charge me? Oh, wait a minute. Do the Shaws already have those on a la carte? Do they already offer that stuff in their standard things? Yeah, they already offer it. Why? Because they recognize that there's fewer services that are offered that they need to go through in order to complete the transaction. So just understand that we're the current role, the role you just shared with me as we went on our dream fantasy land back 20 years ago, was one size fits all. Guess what? That's not the case anymore. It's not one size fits all. It's let's review the 30 years that you've been my client, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Let's review, you're not email, so you're going to be snail mail. When Barb sends out a rate sheet, I send you information on the market. When, yearly, when you ask me, should I appeal my taxes? I send you a CMA at the end of the year showing you what properties values are in your neighborhood, stuff like that you do as a matter of course, that you need to explain the value of realtor services and why you're worth whatever you determine you're worth in whatever price range these people are now in.
Well, the thing that's on Facebook right now that a lot of realtors have put out there, that like 900 things that we do
Yes.
as realtors.
Yes.
That's almost gonna, in my opinion, it's almost gonna be a necessity.
Yes.
To include when somebody says, you want a la carte? Okay, here's the answer.
Now wait. It's not a necessity if you don't do those 900 things.
But I do.
Because that creates liability for each and every transaction. Understand what I'm saying? Because again, when I was doing the class last week, I was talking about the critical date list. And how people should just give a
Right.
seller saying, why should I pay you? Well, you don't need to pay me. Here's a critical date list. Oh, by the way, what is that? 3 pages? Checklist with all the timeframes and all the inspections and following up with the lender and the appraisal and blah, 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 all that stuff that happens. I mean, that kind of says, this is too much. I don't have time for this. Of course, I'm going to pay you, what you and I have agreed to. But then most of these you're doing for me. What's the buyer broker doing for me? Besides bringing me an offer that I choked on when I saw it the first time, that was $20,000 less than I was asking, and I'm supposed to pay him X. To me, the rule that's going to be discussed the most at NAR is going to be the rule that once I put it in MLS, the buyer broker is entitled to it, and it is not negotiable by any parties, except the buyer broker originating it or the buyer broker agreeing to it. I see that rule as becoming, or I see people doing workarounds within MLS. For example, I might offer $1 or I might offer 1% in MLS. And in the realtor remarks, I'll say, you know, seller, depending on the offer, seller may offer additional compensation or something to that effect. Just me saying it. I'm not saying let's all do that. I'm not a rush to do it. I'm just saying, wouldn't be surprised if something like that starts to happen just because, oh, and by the way, just as I said that each commission discussion is not one size fits all, understand that not every market is going to have the same entries in the MLS. For example, right now, assuming your property's been on the market for a while, is it time to eliminate commission or look to increase commission? Right? 2 years ago, we rolled back the clock to what's 2 years ago, 2021, that time period, when you know you'd have 50 offers. You were offering too much commission, right? Because the buyer needs to pay in that. And I in that market, I would think there'd be a lot of new listings coming on at zero commissions or a significantly reduced commission. Because now you, buyer broker, have a conversation with your buyer as to what your compensation expectation is going to be, because you don't need it. 50, what happens if I eliminate it? I'm only going to get 30. I was going to say, when you asked your question, Joni, I do know a little bit about commissions from when I was on the dark side at Open Door. And Open Door as the seller and as the broker started to experiment with the commission, with the buyer broker commission. In this marketplace, there were limited experiments. I mean, you know, I don't know, I forget it, we're down to 2% or not. I know we went to 2.5%, and then all of a sudden it seems like everybody's at 2.5%. Not saying it's a good or bad thing, I'm just saying that eventually it happened. But you know, the seller, Open Door was the seller, Open Door was the owner. Was in a lot of conversations, you know, with the board, talking about their #1 expense for buying and selling homes, and that was buyer broker commissions. And they wanted to find what can we sell it for in the Atlanta marketplace. Thankfully, when I was no longer the broker there, we had somebody boots on the ground in Atlanta. He took the heat. They lowered it to 1%. And the conversations that he received there were from a lot of realtors that had no idea what price fixing was about, what antitrust was about. Which started out with, I'm not going to work for 1%. In fact, nobody in my office is going to show your listings if all you're offering is 1%. You know, my compensation is only going to be X, whatever it is, and I forget what the competition was in that marketplace. But you know, my services are only going to be at 3%. Okay, do what you need to do. Well, by the way, talk to your broker while you're at it, because they might want to know. Yeah.
I mean, an individual agent can tell their client that I am working for 3%, but if an individual agent, then I may lose the business if I don't want to reduce or whatever. But I just want to go back real quick to when prices go up, we get a price increase, and how horrible that sounds, because if 15,000 was enough, how come it's not enough 10 years later? But 10 years later, everything is more expensive, and everybody has their hands in our pocket. But we're not allowed to have increase of pay. We don't have a job. We don't get raises. My health insurance has gone up. My water bill has gone up. Gas has gone up. Everything has gone up. Oh, but a realtor is not allowed to make more 10 years later. That's such bullshit. I'm so sick of hearing that. Anyway, so sorry about that. It's just like
no.
No,
I mean, I get it.
Like everybody's got their hands in our pocket because we do so little for so much money.
Right.
We all know that. We've heard that. But
there's a different attitude towards commissions than people do salaries, for instance.
Right.
Somehow commission is not real payment.
It's not
A salary is real.
Right.
But commission is not, because I was on the phone one time for a client with the IRS who had a tax lien. And the IRS person said, well, you can just carry your commission. I mean, it's just a commission. Right? From an IRS agent. And they go, oh, yeah. And I said, and so you don't think, although you're getting paid, no one else should get paid. And I think there's an attitude. I think that there's a little
Maybe.
bit of a lingering attitude towards commissions being non-legitimate and salaries or hourly being legit.
Yeah, and the difference is the commission people work a hell of a lot harder than their salary people.
And with less certain.
I know.
Real quick, I just want to say to the guy who had the person who had the question on there about what's your opinion of what we should be worried about most? I'm worried about most, not that you all care, but I'm thinking the concern is, okay, I have this neighborhood I searched, coming soon, just came into my email the other day, the 0%. Let's say I have a buyer, I do a buyer broker, but for some buyers, and we all know that it's gonna be very hard to figure out how we're gonna help these people and how we're gonna get paid.
Right.
VA buyers can't sign a buyer broker, so now VA buyers are stuck in the mud. We can't help them if
Right.
they want that house.
Right.
So there's so much rockiness in how we're gonna be able to really help the consumer, because that's what we want to do. And get paid.
So the VA thing is being looked at, but the clarification is VA buyers can't be held to pay the buyer broker. So it is possible to put in that it is the seller that is going to pay buyer concessions, right, to cover the commission. But then the buyer broker agreement will have to be done, but it will have to somehow reference, and we're working on this language, we'll have to reference that payment, just like back in the days when the termite could not be paid by the buyer, that this fee cannot be paid by the buyer. It will have to be paid by someone else. So we're gonna find a workaround for VA buyers. It's not an easy and quick solution, and the VA department's gonna have to make sure, the lender's gonna have to make sure that we can do that. Right.
Yeah, and that's obviously the best argument that NAR has, but that argument stops at about 400,000 or wherever, you know, I know VA buyers, but you know, percentage wise, it gets thinner and thinner going forward.
Right.
So if that's the case, first home buyers are going to be harmed. Of course, if it's conventional, you can always ask for 2% seller concessions and from the seller, and then use that to pay the buyer broker agreement, unless of course it's VA, and that's going to become problematic.
Would that have to be disclosed then?
Sure.
You're saying on the actual, your offer?
Sure. Yeah,
And
on the offer, well, the 2%, the seller concessions, and it's gonna go to buyer's closing costs. Do you need to have more information than that? I don't know. It's the buyer, I don't know, remains to be, remains to be seen.
Well, that's really the thing, because we all were starting to actually look at those.
Yeah.
When we were trying to figure out concessions and if those sellers were not willing to
Right.
actually pay for whatever.
Right.
So that's the one thing that I'd like to know.
Yeah.
If we're actually gonna be able to, or we have to disclose it specifically up front so the seller sees that, or it's like on the actual settlement statement.
Yeah, you know, the tricky part of that for me is, again, I'll go back to my Open Door days. When Open Door started to hire outside agents, and then outside agents were buying Open Door listings. And it's like, okay, who do we represent? Right? And some of these outdoor agents, if they're looking for additional compensation, who needs to sign off on additional compensation? Okay, you can't get paid by both parties to the transaction without informed consent, which typically is in advance. I'm sorry, not typically, which has to be in advance, unless you're just trying to CYA, which doesn't really work and can be undone, whether you like it or not that way. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. Wendy?
Could you see a scenario where remember when I got in the business, which is like, I'm old and bitter, it's like 40 years ago, the commissions were stated in the contract.
Yeah.
Could you see a scenario in which we go back to that?
I would say, yes, because the reason they came out was because of price fixing. Okay, so can they go back? Yeah, it could, because, you know, AR took it out because of NAR's pressure. Because back then, the dealings and the interactions with DOJ was that, you know, we don't know what the commissions are. We only know what one side of the commissions are. You know, and that depends which side, well, the listing broker knows what the other side, but not if you're going to give additional information or additional compensation, right? So let me go back to your tirade.
Sorry, I know. I got
Okay.
a little far.
Yeah, which is fine, and I get it. But here's the thing. So if I'm dealing with a new client or customer, oh, by the way, do they have to be clients in order to get paid?
No.
By them? It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out, because in Arizona, you can write contracts. Article 26 says without charge, which means you've got to represent somebody, you're gonna get paid by somebody,
Right,
so.
because you said the à la carte, right, at contract, you can.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah.
It might require some additional work at the legislature for à la carte only. To work and still be able to write contracts, or not without having written a contract. I don't know, I'll have to get an interpretation along those lines. But where was I?
We were going back to my tirade about.
Yes, so I'm talking to a new prospect. And the question goes, well, I hear commissions are negotiable. And my response might be along the lines of, it's been negotiable for years. As a matter of fact, last year, where there might be 3% offered in MLS, I pay for a home warranty, or I give gifts at the end, or I help with closing costs. In fact, my average is less than that, considerably less than that.
Mhm.
And it's a discussion that I have with my client up front, just like I'm having this with you now. So it's not like I don't negotiate commission. The other one that might get your hair up is, tell me, have you ever been involved in a transaction for a relative?
Yeah.
Did you ever have to give any commission back?
No.
Oh,
I did.
yeah. Do
I
those
have.
people think commissions grow on trees?
Correct.
And that salary, and I work for a salary, but you're a commission, so Wendy, you don't need this,
You don't need payment.
$20,000. You should probably give me all of that back, or at least half of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right? So again, understand, our initial reaction is always going to be pushback. But look at what you've done in the real estate business, because, for example, I guess that isn't you. Maybe yours goes that way. But if you list and sell for the same client,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I
I
take-
know what you're gonna say.
oh my God, how can you do that? Prices have gone up. No, right? You do that. So your commission isn't always X.
Or
In
if-
some cases,
yeah.
2 for 1 is maybe not 2 for 1, but is
Or if I bring
2
the
for 1 and
buyer,
3
I
quarters.
bring the buyer and I've got the listing.
That's it.
And everybody agrees to limited representation, and I'm very proper about it, but maybe I'm gonna negotiate that total sum of everything that goes on.
With who? With the seller up front,
With the seller up front.
Right.
Oh, right, in
Right.
the beginning, I'm gonna say.
Right.
this is
With
the scenario.
disclosure.
Right.
because the buyer isn't gonna know that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
So, that's my point. So understand, look at examples in which you already negotiate, or you negotiate as a matter of course
Right.
in your business, and then present it in a way that, of course I negotiate.
Yeah.
Right. And then I say, I'll be happy to negotiate with you. We just need to do this buyer broker agreement.
Yeah.
That we're gonna talk about this and talk about that and figure out what the
Am I
amount's
gonna
gonna be.
answer my phone at 10 PM or not
Oh.
after 5? Am I gonna be on call 24/7 for you and give my blood? Or am I gonna be really strict about what I give you? Sorry, but you know what I mean? We did a lot.
How do you feel about this really though?
Yeah, I know.
You wanna change? Change hurts, man. Change hurts.
I'm a little bitter today. And the joy of it is when I'm with my clients, because I love them, but all this stuff is like, pisses me off, because it's like, we all, and I know great agents in this room, and we work our tail off, and like, it should. I'm paying for that cleaning person, I'm paying for that home warranty, I am helping out,
It's
Right.
been in our pocket forever. It's just how big our
Yes.
pockets were, or how small they
Yes.
are. And the market, markets control commission more than any
Right.
client.
It's already changed a lot in the last few years,
Well,
because of the dark side. No, I'm teasing. Well,
Strong seller market puts downward pressure on.
yes,
Right, strong seller markets do that, period.
yeah,
When you have a strong buyer's market, commissions tend to go up.
Yeah.
That's what's funny about this price fixing claim. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We are so responsive to the demands of the marketplace.
And we all got a huge reduction in pay in 2009 when I was selling the same house for maybe 400,000, and then 2 years later I was selling it for 100,000. No one was worried about my decrease in pay then.
Or short sales we got to work on for a year.
For free sometimes, for free.
I would like to be 10 towards flow Ryan.
Yeah.
That's,
And the ones that
that's why
do that-
meditation and yoga is the thing that I'm suggesting to folks, because you gotta clear yourself. of
That's like
Things that have been,
session.
Yeah.
and you got to see in your mind where we're going, and am I going
We need
where the
really-
industry is
really
going?
He's going out of the camera view.
Hi, I'm going, I'm seeing you.
So for those that were not here was it last week?
Yeah.
It was last week. We talked about this. What I talked about is when you're taking a listing, please do not go into the listing and say, I do 6% listings.
Oh.
Go in and talk about your value and what your side of the listing is.
That's the first question they ask. Well, how much do you charge?
Well, but oftentimes people would give that combined charge instead of saying what they take, right? And then, look, the MLS shows the co-broks. You're already going over the CMA. Show them what those 10 listings that have sold, what commissions did they pay out? Oh, and by the way, what are the active listings that they're going to be competing with? What are they offering, right? Let's show them. Here are 3 that are at 0%.
Right.
You are welcome to offer that. Let's see, they've been on the market 90 days, 75 days. And then we've got 3 others that are on the market for 20 days at 2.5% and 3%. What would you like to offer, right? And let them have that conversation with them. That way we've done exactly what they're talking about. We've had the conversation to split those 2 sides up and make sure they understand it is their choice. You are going to take your commission for what you are requiring for those services that you are providing, right? So that's the easiest way to define this for us as a listing
One
site.
thing that Alex said when he was here is that, you know, as agents, we can't not show houses based on commission, but the buyer can give us instructions to not take them to 0% buyer broker houses because they don't want to pay.
And if
And I
that
thought
is,
that
the-
If you have a buyer broker agreement.
Right.
Yes,
yes.
right, but I think that was an interesting statement
So-
from our attorney.
So please, if that is going to be an instruction, guess what?
Get it right.
Right.
Get it in writing, right? That it
Right.
is an instruction. Just like it's an instruction from your seller to not share, well, in the contracts is not share verbal,
Right.
but offers, but you can go on and say, if they don't want you to share an offer that is under, say, $550,000, get that in writing. And that way, when somebody says, well, hey, if I'm going to offer, 530, what do you think? Say, well, it's not what I think. I can tell you that I've been instructed by the seller not to present any offers under this dollar amount. Or I wouldn't say that. I would just say it's under the dollar amount that I've been told. I wouldn't give the amount. I would say that is under the amount that I've been told I can present. Yes, Lee.
On the buyer broker, and you can still say, the percentage, the commission, you can put a minimum of X%. Then if it's above, or whatever.
Yeah.
There was a time where we're going to give them bonuses. And that,
Yep.
that
That was a problem too in a weird way. Because then you're like, do I give it to my client? I need to be transparent. What do I do with this? Yep.
So Jim's going to tell the other part of that settlement, the other settlement.
Which one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, well, this is Northwest MLS, and they do, Lane or
Leaf.
have a number of options on, do I show or not show? If I show and I'm in at 2% or a flat fee and it's an amount extra, where does it go? It gets rebated to the buyer or where it's going to go. So there's going to be additional options to lead the conversation into, and then you check the boxes and now you have in writing the fact that don't show me listings in which I'm going to have to come out of pocket because I don't have the money.
But
How about
remember,
if I-
that's
how about-
negotiable.
Yeah, or how about if I don't show you, but I ask you on each individual one, what if we can ask the seller,
Right.
you know, within an offer?
Right.
Or by the way, even if it says 0 commissions, if I offer more, could I get a commission? Not making that a net listing in mind, but you know, if it's 500,000 and I'm looking for 2%, if I offer 510, will you give me 2%? Will it be 2% seller concessions, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, we're, again, speculation. Where are we gonna go? What's gonna happen? Because we're waiting for the final ruling and the final approval from the judge. Yeah, Leif.
With that, like, they're doing it Northwest and West, I think that form would be signed before you show houses, right? Or is it?
Yeah, I would say so, because it's a buyer broker agreement.
Versus at the
Yeah.
time of writing it off.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, the other thing, in going through, you know, Melissa's, what are these properties, other properties on the market offering and stuff? Don't do a lot, Leif, this is to you. Don't do a lot of math on those yourself, accumulating what the average is gonna be for commissions offered in the neighborhood or per the zip code. Don't do a lot of that, because then the average listing is, or everybody's offering X, you gotta be careful with that stuff, right? But also then understand what you're gonna do next. I know what you're gonna do next. You're gonna take the same information that Melissa just talked about, and you're gonna say, you know, here's a $500,000 listing that included a 3% commission. And now here's a $500,000 listing on the market with a 0% commission. Should we do an adjustment as far as the 500,000 offering 3% is? So now we're down to 485, and so that's a 485 sales price versus a $500,000 asking price.
That was what I was just gonna ask. What are our appraisers
Right.
gonna start doing?
Exactly.
Because
No.
when we started to look at deals that were closing without commissions, maybe from some of those big companies, right, that we knew those commissions were being reduced or eliminated, or let's say the ones that bought the home and it's showing being sold through the tax records, that was sold and then it was resold, but we know that there was a marketing fee that was added onto that.
Dark side discussion,
Right, the dark side discussion, right?
and you don't know what the dark side was.
Well, and as a listing agent on a couple of those, I put in a seller contribution
Right.
to the buyer on that, so it got adjusted in the appraisal. What is gonna happen with our appraisals, right? Nobody's talking about the fact that, I mean, one of the things that is kind of even on the playing field is that there are these kind of generalized fees that are somewhat similar. They're not identical, but they're similar. Now, if you're going from 3 to 0 on, you know, $1 million property, that's not similar. That's a huge shift.
But again, speculation, because I wouldn't bet the ranch on MLS when it comes to seller concessions currently.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
no, we know,
right.
that. We are aware
And
of that.
just because the MLS said it was gonna be 2.5% doesn't mean it closed at 2.5.
Right.
So unless I got the settlement statement, I'm thinking that that's what it was, but I don't know. You know, I don't know if Deborah gave away, you know, something in there, because, you know, that's the way she really rolls. She just gets mad at us when we're saying, when we.
Who is that angry woman?
Right?
Right, exactly.
So again, that part's speculation. So we go back to what do we know? We know that we're still waiting for the judge to approve. We know that there's probably gonna be some sort of injunctive relief, which is gonna say, NAR, stop doing this. We know that there's gonna be copycats coming along. There's already been at least 2. And I suspect that multiple states will be included here shortly, as well as multiple companies. So, you know, that's all coming attractions. Be careful with the clickbait that you get, that you read. I thought one of the best articles that I read, and it's funny how where it's showing up already. Last Wednesday, USA Today, in the money section, had an article which was talking about the lawsuit. And it was actually fairly neutral, although it did have a couple clickbaits. You know, commissions are going to come down from 5 to 6% down to 2.5 to 4 or something like that. There'll be 60 or 80% of realtors out of the business in the next 3 years or something like, you know, so it did have some clickbait things on there, but it did talk about opening up discussions and having more transparent discussions Oh, and by the way, NER, last week, Halloween or November 1st, one of the days, posted on their website, ner.realtor, a number of FAQs for you to use and to help you understand, the discussion and where it's at and where it's going. And I would encourage you to check that stuff out. And it'll probably get added to going forward. Questions?
Thank you guys for coming and sticking around.
Okay. It's okay.
Tell Phil I didn't do my cold plunge this morning.
All right, folks online, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Thank you so much. If you're in, come get one of our shirts. We've still got some, depending on your size. Have a good one. See you soon.